Hey everybody, welcome to Activity 3.2. Now this video is not one that you have to watch, it's just an extra bonus video in case you feel like you need more guidance on this literary devices practice activity. What I want to do here is just go through numbers 1 through 5 together and talk about what the answers would be. And so you're welcome to follow along with me in your document and fill in just like I'm doing. But what I want to do is sort of talk through it so it helps you understand what these literary devices look like and the kind of thinking I'm asking you to do in this activity. So let's take a look here. You've already seen the example here, but the example quote is from chapter 1. And it's when the boys are out in the field and Selva's sort of flashing back and remembering some of the good times, and they've caught some sort of a bird and they're roasting it over the fire. And it says the juices dripped and sizzled. A delicious smell filled the air. And that sentence would undoubtedly be an example of imagery. Because remember, imagery is language that uses the senses sight, smell, taste, touch, sound to really put an image into the reader's mind. And so it's definitely imagery. And I typed that in this box. And then over here, what's the effect of this literary device? Like, what is that quote doing in the reader's mind? And so I said here, it is using sense language to put into our minds what that cooking meat looked like. It was dripping, right? What it sounded like, sizzling. We can picture that, right? And what it smelled like. It smelled delicious. And I also noted here, actually, the word sizzled is an onomatopoeia too, which is a sound effect word. Sizzled sounds like the sound that it's describing. So we're going to just walk through now and do numbers 1 through 5. And you're welcome to just write these down as we go. So the first one here, the quote says, the teacher continued the lesson from where he had left off. Then, crack, pop, pop, crack, ack, 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 gunfire. So definitely here, Linda Sue Park, she's trying to put sounds into our mind, right? She's trying to get us to hear in our mind's ear what Salva is hearing. And she could have just said he heard the sound of gunfire. But rather than doing that, she actually spelled out the sounds. And that's a really powerful tool. That's an example of onomatopoeia. Now let's see if I can spell this correctly. Onomatopoeia. There we go. And what's the effect of this literary device? I'll just say it is, let me just, okay, let's use black for these. Okay, it is putting the sound effects of the gunfire right into our minds. And even like the different onomatopoeias, right? The first is crack, pop, pop, crack, which would be like rifle fire, right? And then you've got the ack, 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 like some sort of like machine gun sound. So it's really powerful that she's putting those sounds into our mind. Let's go on to the next one. This is when Salva's running away from his school, and the village where the school is being attacked by the northern Sudanese army. And it says here, he felt his heart beating so hard that its pulse pounded in his throat and his ears. Now, you've probably had something like that before where you either were so like scared or nervous, or maybe you were like exercising really hard and you could just feel your pulse like in your face, like in your throat and your ears and your nose. You can feel your pulse beating, right? That's definitely talking about this feeling, this sense. So which literary device is that? That's imagery again, right? Imagery when an author is giving you senses like that. So this one, it's using the sense of touch slash feeling to show how nervous Salva is. Because we've all experienced that, right? You feel embarrassed or angry and you just feel the blood rush to your head and you feel your pulse, right? So that's a really powerful image. Number 3, this is really close to that. It's when he's running away still, and it says the words were blocked by the wild thumping in his throat. Okay, so he's got that pulse that he feels in his throat and his face, but it also says that he's got this thumping. Now, that word thumping is an example of another onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia. The word thump is a sound effect. The word is trying to sound like the sound that it's describing. So again, it is putting the sound effect of his heartbeat heartbeat straight into our minds. Okay, let's look at number 4. The air was full of dust that had been kicked up by all those running feet. Then he was running too, running as hard as he could into the bush. Now, I think you could probably make a case here for 2 literary devices. I definitely think there is some imagery going on here when it's talking about the air is full of dust that had been kicked up, right? That's creating a visual picture in our minds of what it looks like, sort of hazy and dusty. But I think there's a literary device that stands out even more here. What word do you see 3 times? In here, you see that word running, right? All the running feet. Then he was running too, running as hard as he could into the bush. So this would be an example of repetition. And just a reminder, repetition is when an author takes a word or sometimes a group of words like a phrase and repeats them at least once or several times to really emphasize something. In this case, running, running, running. What does that do? What's the effect of that by saying running, running, running? Well, I think it creates this sense of panic, right? Everybody's scattering, running. It's showing how urgent the situation is and how everybody's just trying to get away, running, running, running. And it creates this sort of feeling, emotion of it's urgent. He has to get away right now. So let me just say that it is by repeating the word running over and over, Linda Sue Park is creating a sense of panic and urgency. Okay, so everyone's just trying to get away, running, running, running. Good. Okay, number 5. Boom! Salva turned and looked. This is at the beginning of, I believe, chapter 3, when he's on his journey through the bush, and there's planes, fighter jets that are bombing different villages. And so, of course, hopefully by now you're feeling really confident about this. This would definitely be an example of an onomatopoeia. And Linda Sue Park is putting the sound effect of the bombing right into our minds. Boom. Linda Sue Park could indirectly have said it. She could say, Salva heard the sound of a bomb going off. But she doesn't. It's more direct, right? Boom. And she's putting it right into our minds. And that's the power of an onomatopoeia. All right, so we've done numbers 1 through 5 right now. Now that we've done that, I hope you're starting to see the kind of thinking, and you're becoming more familiar with these 3 literary devices. I just want to point out to you that I only have examples of imagery, repetition, and onomatopoeia in this document. I did not put any symbolism in, just because it's sort of hard to show symbolism in one single quote. Usually symbolism is developed over the course of a long time. And so it's harder to show in just a single quote. But you now try 6 through 10 on your own and do your best. And thanks for watching.